Hello, hello. Welcome to LRGA Curves today. Make sure you smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, ring the bell if you haven't already on your way in. Go ahead and ring my bell, so you can get notified when I upload videos and so you can become part of the beautiful curvy community that we're growing over here in the YouTube streets. So, like I said, thanks for coming to LRGA Curves today. Make sure you smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. On your way in, go ahead and ring the bell so you can get notified next time we upload videos and so you can become part of the beautiful curvy community that we're growing in the YouTube streets. Thank you for being here this evening. I know it's later than I usually come on, but for some reason I'm still awake. And I was like, I owe you guys a live, so let's try something a little different. Usually I come on here much earlier, and today it's much later. But no worries, no problems. This isn't going to be a long live. I just wanted to mention some things that I heard in the YouTube streets. Yeah. So let's see. The people on this thumbnail from left to right. No, let's go from right to left. Okay. No, let's go from left to right. Oh, see, as soon as I came on, now I started yawning. I swear I've been up. I've been wide awake sitting here. Let's see. Okay, you guys. So this is Sunny Minks. She's on Love and Marriage Huntsville this season, a show that's on the OWN network, produced by none other than Carlos King. Yes, the one who gave us Real Housewives of Atlanta and Real Housewives of New Jersey, the best and premiere seasons of those. So yeah, he's known in the game of production for reality TV. Well, he has a series called Love and Marriage Huntsville. And you guys know there's 52 weeks in a year. Well, old Carlos gets the most out of his reality stars because they be having 33 episodes, y'all. 33 episodes out of 52 weeks in a year. And I heard he only be paying them $2,000 a pop. And so they are working hard for all their reality dollars over in the streets of Huntsville. So the story with Sunny is that on the show, she was a producer. Now, Carlos King is the executive producer / creator because he took Melody Cherie Rogers' idea and kind of tweaked it enough to make it his own so that he would be able to get full credit for the change of the show, because it was supposed to be like a kind of flipping show before, and they turned it into this couples show. And babe, can I have some cold water? Please, I'm so thirsty. I don't think he heard me. Let me ask him. Let me call him. Because I don't think he heard me. He's wondering what I'm doing up. So she's a producer on that show. And they are in their 5th season, I believe. And she was a producer on the show. That would mean season 2 and 3. She was a producer, and the person she produced. Can I have some cold water, please? Thanks, babe. The person she produced on the show was named Destiny Payton Williams. Well, Destiny Payton Williams. Oh, Candor! No way, love. How have you been? Such a nice treat to have you in the chat this evening. It has been too long. I hope that you are most excellent, my friend. It's been far too long. I've been super duper busy, lifing, living, loving, creating, co-creating, all of that stuff, Oh, you just moved. Awesome. Congratulations. I hope you love your new digs. Thank you, son. Oh, wow. There's loads to do, right? Oh, that water's so refreshing. It never stops, Candor. And look, I'm not stopping tonight because, like I said, I've been sitting here wide a freaking wake. My brother lives in Florida, you guys, but he lives on the Miami side, and he swears he's going to be okay. But I've been seeing on TikTok for all night long all the people looking for Lieutenant Dan and all the stuff with his boat and all the people on the 13th floor, the penthouse. They're still getting wet, and I'm just like, are you sure you're okay, brother? But anyway, back to the people that I'm talking about on this thing. So there's Sunny. She was a producer on the show, and she produced this lady named Destiny Williams. So I don't know if you're familiar with reality show format, where it's supposed to be reality, but then you have producers to try to help you remain interesting on the show. And so, like, they either ply you with liquor, let Leah McSweeney tell it, or have you pull off your top, like Sonia from freaking New York used to always do, um, or just tell you to go say something that's kind of crazy, and then you'll get camera time, you know? Mademoiselle, thanks. Yeah, I am up late. I don't know what's going on. So I decided to pop on here for a good half hour and just come say hi. So Sunny, she was producing Destiny. Now, the person, the little man's head at the bottom, the man with no glasses right here, his name is Moses. That's what we thought his name was. But as it turns out, when he goes to jail, his name is actually Jason. And that's where Jason is right now, in jail. How he is related to this whole story is that when Sonny was producing Destiny on Love and Marriage Huntsville, she was dating this dude, Moses. Yes. And had been on again, off again with him over like 15 years, let them tell it, which the math ain't mathing to me. Because also on the show, while Destiny was being produced by Sonny, Destiny was married. Yep, sure was. Married to LeBarick Williams. Yep, sure was. And they were married for a good year. And then she had a baby. And then he left her 2 weeks after she popped the baby out. Yep, sure did. Seemed like he was, I'm not sure what man leaves their firstborn son 2 weeks after he's born, unless it's some trifling ish on that he's thinking. I have no idea what man would do that. Okay. So she was married to LeBarick within the last 5 years. And the show has been on 5 years. It's in this fifth season. So how she dated Moses while she was married to LeBarick could actually explain why he wanted a divorce 2 weeks after she had his son. That would explain everything. Because if you was dating a man and married to a man, then she likes to say she has big dick energy. Then her big dick energy got her in trouble. She needs to keep her dick in her pants, it sounds like. Yes. So Sunny, when Destiny quit the show, Sunny was not, I guess, producing anymore. And Destiny was off the show for a year, and she was flooding her Instagram with her and Moses out kicking it, partying, kissing, being like, a couple, I guess, because they were Instagram official. They were on each other's Instagram. And then, but Destiny was not on the show anymore for like a year. She took like a year break, I guess, because she fell out with everybody on the show. And she was going through that divorce. And she's super secretive about everything. And she's fairly, she just, So they had issues with how she doesn't really open up. Nobody even knew she was getting a divorce. Okay, but also nobody knew she was dating Moses. So there's a lot about Destiny that we have no idea about. So after the two ladies, Destiny and Sunny, pictured here in the far left corner, were off the show, they did meet up after the show, let Destiny tell it, and Sunny too. Like Destiny was invited to Sunny's birthday party after she was produced and actually brought Moses to the birthday party, at which allegedly, let's Destiny tell it, Sunny was like, "Oh, your boyfriend is my cousin." That's what Destiny said at first. She hasn't said it too many more times, but she said she ran with that story at first. And only to end up not only dating Moses during a break in his relationship with Destiny, she went on to marry him within 3 months, you guys. And she started off the producer, and that's how she met Moses, was by being Destiny's producer. That's some dirty work. Then Destiny and Moses and Sunny are from St. Louis. And I told you guys the show is called the Love and Marriage Huntsville. So what are y'all doing in Huntsville? Why aren't you just waiting to do Love and Marriage in St. Louis? Why y'all pick your asses up and move to Huntsville is beyond me, except for you wanted to torture Destiny. Like, because you don't have no friends in the friend group on Love and Marriage Huntsville because you're from freaking St. Louis. And all of these people on the show on Love and Marriage Huntsville have been around each other for 12 to 16 years or whatever, for a long time for some of them. And so these are two transplants, not only to the city, but also transplants into the friend group and also transplants into the viewer rotation. So we don't know them. We have no emotional ties to these two. We do not care. When Destiny was on the show, like I said, she was married to LeBaric. So we didn't even, as viewers, know him from the show. We don't care. We don't care. That we only happen to know him from the Instagrams because, as it turns out, Love and Marriage Huntsville has a lot more going on off screen than on screen in the social medias, with the likes of Show Enough Miss Wanda, Stormy Daniels, and Melody Cherie Rogers. Yes, they will go live in a heartbeat, y'all, and spill all the tea. And remember, Kiki Jabbar, rest in peace. She used to go live a lot too. She was on that show. So anyway, the reason I have them on this thumbnail is because they came on the show and the show is on a hiatus again. That's how you get to 33 episodes also in a 52-week year, is you take lots of breaks. So they're on a hiatus again, and they'll be back, I think, in November or something. And the last episode had Sunny on the ropes with the other ladies of the group, asking her, "Why are you here? Basically, what you doing with the Moses?" And she's like, "Well, I'm the wife. I'm the wife." And just like, y'all gonna have to accept it. I mean, I'm the wife. She was like a side piece. I'm the wife. And I'm like, and he had just got out of jail, you guys. Did I tell you guys that Sunny and Destiny are fighting over Moses, who had just gotten out of jail? So that's another way I don't understand how Destiny was allegedly dating him off and on for 15. Well, it would have had to have been more off than on if he was in jail, right? So, yeah. So they have been dating off and on for 15 years because he kept going to jail. And, oh, yeah. And he was married too, you guys. So he was married and going in and out of jail for the past 15 years while he was simultaneously dating Destiny, who was married to a whole other man and had just had his baby. Yep, sure did. And then his new wife, who was the producer of Destiny on the show, comes back to the show to rub it in her face and brag about being the wife, and he chose me and he chose me. And then she made all kind of Instagram pages. Sunny did. Sunny made all kind of Instagram pages called Sunny and Moses, and she started an LLC called Mosun, and she did a lot of other things in their name, and they're supposed to be flipping houses and getting to the bags, and she was always just bragging on him, and I guess dragging him around too, because he wasn't supposed to leave St. Louis, you guys, and they was in Huntsville filming, and the show is a reality show on TV, so I guess the courts got wind of it, and now he is currently in jail right now today, 10/10/24, allegedly. Moses, aka government name Jason, is in jail for breaking his probation parole stuff, y'all, and for not being where he was supposed to be and being up under Sonny trying to vex Destiny instead. And he was very rude to Destiny too. Let me just say, God don't like ugly and very little pretty. And I just kind of feel like this was an immediate Carmageddon situation, because how are you going to come on the show to antagonize this lady with this man? And that's how the man got caught up and put back in jail, is because he's on film, not where he's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Carmageddon is a biatch, and she is not playing in 2024. So, y'all be careful, because we still got 2 months left of this ride in 2024. So that's the Sonny Moses story. Um, so then everybody heard that Moses was in jail, aka Jason. And so people, and Sonny likes to go live too. She wanted to fit right into the cast. So as soon as she got on the cast this year, she immediately started going live and got a YouTube channel. So she was on her Instagram live talking about catch me on my YouTube live, and I'll let you guys know if Moses is in jail or not and what's going on. So then she had a YouTube live on Saturday after saying that. And then she had like a 2 hour live, you guys, and never answered the question. It was just stringing people along. And she had people preload her channel so she could hurry up and get to 1,000 in anticipation of, hey, Celine, yeah, I'm just stopping by too, girl. I need to take my ass to bed. And so, yeah, Sonny is in a lot of trouble, because now people are like, you're a fake, you're a phony, you're a user, you're still trying to produce, because she didn't say anything she said she would say if people joined her, if they subscribed to her channel and tuned in this last Saturday. She didn't tell us anything. So then she got backlash for that. So then she did another live, you guys. And in that live, she was like, well, I don't really know what y'all is expecting from me. I don't really know. I don't know you guys, nothing. Da, 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 da. So then she got backlash after that live again. And by this time, the other YouTubers had the actual police mugshot and police charges from Jason, aka Moses, being in jail. And so then she did another live. Well, she was crying, you guys, crying, talking about, yeah, just crying. Because it's a lot. It's a lot. I understand. I kind of feel sorry for her, but like I said, God don't like ugly and very little pretty. There's a million men in the world. I have no idea why you would need to go after the man that you were the producer of his girlfriend at the time. That's a messy Jerry Springer ass shit, Sonny. Yes. So now we have Tyler Perry, you guys. Tyler Perry's right there. You guys know Tyler Perry. Well, you guys know he did that documentary called uh, Maxine's Child, Tyler Perry documentary, and it was on Netflix recently. Well, I watched it. I thought it was brilliant. I was like, that is a brilliant show, right? Well, you guys may or may not also know that earlier this year, Christian Keys from All the Queen's Men did a live where he was complaining, well, not complaining, where he was venting about being SA'd by a Hollywood man, one of the richest Hollywood mogul people, and he was SA'd by them. And yeah, and promised things and all kind of stuff, right? So everybody thought he was talking about Tyler Perry. He didn't name any names, and I'm not saying that it's Tyler Perry. I'm just saying that everybody thought it was Tyler Perry. I didn't think nothing, because he said the guy had billions, and Tyler Perry, I Googled it, and Tyler Perry doesn't have billions, but the guy who does have billions, I don't know if he's like on the DL or what, because I had no idea that he would have drove to a man's house and offered him a Maserati for some, for some good times, right? Yeah, talking about you just on my mind. I was just thinking about you. Did you guys catch that live? I think I posted it on my channel. Check my archives. But anyway, so after that live, after that Netflix series came out, now there's this series, you guys. Let me show you this. Crazy. So somebody was none too pleased about that. And if you go to Surviving Tyler Perry, Let me share this with you. Wait, where'd the website go? I was just there. I was just on it. Did he already? Okay, Surviving Tyler Perry. Just a second. I'm trying to pull it up for you. I was just on it on my other browser. Now it's not coming up, you guys. Did he already get that taken down? Because he was trying to stop it. Dang, survivingtylerperry.com. Let me make it www. And then I'll show it to you guys. www.com. No way. I just had it up for us. Wait, is it here? Here. Oh yeah. So look, my other browser was still open. So let me go like this. And then I'll put this over here. And then I'll come back to us over here. Can you guys still hear me okay? And then I'm going to share this right here. So look, if you guys go enter www.survivingtylerperry.com, then it'll take you to this website where this is a new documentary that's going to be coming out on November 28th. And I'm getting goosebumps right now because I really like Tyler Perry. But I mean, after his documentary about how he grew up, I can see him becoming the monster that he was fed to, because he was actually horribly abused by the man in the male figure in his life, horribly abused by that man. And I could see that's what happens. Hurt people. And that's no excuse for what he's allegedly done. But sorry, this website, survivingtylerperry.com, Part 1, the interviews, is a 3-part docuseries that will be released on November 28th, you guys. And Tyler Perry has been trying to stop this for so long. Now, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but you see these light names behind here. These are names of the alleged victims of freaking Tyler Perry, you guys. See, I don't know if you can make out these names. It looks like maybe PA, and then there's JASON, a Jason. There's Christian. I told you guys Christian Keys had said something, but I don't know if it's Christian Keys, but that looks like it could say Christian. And then this says, I don't know, what does that say? And then that looks like it says Alfonso. And then this says Lance. I don't know what this says, but it ends with RDINGS. And then it has NDA apostrophe S. And then it has AARON. And then it has BRETT. And then it has WALTE. And then it has some other names, like even down here. And you can see recording right here. And you can see more names in here. Brett, harass. Oh, these words say like sexual harassment. Look at all this freaking subliminal messaging. Oh, Jaguar, Diddy. Oh my gosh, you see that? Can you see that, you guys? Can you see how it says Jaguar and Diddy in there? Oh my God. And it says Jason. And what else do I see? I don't see anything else. But if you scroll down to the bottom of this page and you have had experiences that you want to share with Tyler Perry, then you can briefly share your experience, you guys, and verified experiences will be compensated for. Isn't that crazy? So they literally have a website up, and if you've survived Tyler Perry, then not only can you find out when the movie's released, who some of the names are in here, you can see them. I can see them. Keys, Keyes. That is Christian Keys. Oh my gosh. But I don't know. That's just what I'm reading right here. It looks like that's what it says. See that? Keyes. Do you see that? I'm not saying it. I'm just reading it. So this is all alleged. I'm just reading. Um, and that's crazy. So if you feel like you've survived Tyler Perry, you can go to www.survivingtylerperry.com, briefly share your experience, have an email, say you're not a robot, and they'll reach out to you and get some more interviews for the rest of the series, you guys. Isn't that crazy? I hope it's not true, but with what just happened to Diddy, the diddler, yeah, yeah. So now the next person smack dab in the center, Jaguar Wright. Now, Jaguar Wright last week went on Pierce Morgan. Pierce Morgan's camp had reached out to Jaguar Wright. If you don't know who Pierce Morgan is, it's the Caucasian man at the far right of the thumbnail. So Jaguar Wright, with these glasses on in the middle, is the R&B singer. From her and Jill Scott came up simultaneously. However, Jill Scott went a different trajectory, and Jaguar Wright has a lot of reasons why that was, and is all too willing to tell us anytime we'll listen on Instagram, on Tasha K, on Storm Monroe, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, anywhere she can get her truth out, she's willing to go and tell it. And you know what's so interesting is she also wrote a book and that was published in 2017 called The Watershed. And she talks a lot about the stuff in that book too. And that book came out in 2017, you guys. It's 2024, and people are right now today saying that Jaguar is crazy, Delulu, all kind of stuff, just parroting what Wendy Williams specifically has said. And she doesn't know anything, and she's just making it up and talking about things she doesn't. But nobody has ever sued her. She has not gotten one cease and desist. She has not been told to shut the fuck up by anybody she's talking about so far. And that leads me to believe that what she says has a little bit of grit, because it's actually, people send out cease and desist like Skittles, okay? And in my opinion, you don't need to have a lot to get a cease and desist, okay? A cease and desist means shut the fuck up. What you're saying is harming me, and you better shut the fuck up or come with some receipts, right? And she says she has receipts on top of it. So she personally has never been sued. She's been talking about Diddy, the diddler, for years, saying that he was doing all this stuff. She's been talking about Jay-Z. She's been talking about Beyonce. She's been talking about Mary J. Blige. She's talked about Free from 106 in Park. She's talked about Usher. She's talked about Justin Bieber. She's talked about R. Kelly. She's talked about she said she saw Denzel Washington's penis twice. She's talked about, nobody's sued her, you guys. Not one person has sued this woman at all. Make sure you smash that like button, smash the subscribe button if you haven't already, here on LRGA Curves for our after hours chat. So that kind of makes me feel like she's telling the truth, because usually people will send a cease and desist, right? It's either that or she has nothing to lose, so she would keep talking so they know they're wasting their time. Either way, why Beyonce and Jay-Z would reach out to Pierce Morgan via their attorney, some Shapiro guy, and tell Pierce Morgan, send Pierce Morgan the cease and desist for having Jaguar on his platform. Now that sounds backwards to me. Instead of telling the person who's been running around talking shit about you for at least 5 years, bruh, on various platforms that have millions and millions of subscribers and followers, and the videos that she puts up get millions and millions of views. Pierce Morgan's show is currently on YouTube, you guys. It's on YouTube. And so it too is on YouTube. He has millions of followers. It gets millions of views too. So I'm just confused. I'm a little bit baffled at why Jay-Z and Beyonce would not send the cease and desist to the person who needs to do the desisting, and instead send it to somebody she told the story to and ask that they remove the fucking video on the show called Uncensored. And the show called Uncensored complied and censored their content and video and removed that portion of the tape. That kind of just screams like, I don't know. It kind of makes me feel like there might be a fire with the smoke that Jaguar Wright is saying exists over there, because that just seems out of order. The person who's talking is the only one who starts it. Hey, Linnell, what's good? Thanks for coming through. So Jaguar is the one saying the stuff. So why send it to the person who listened? So does that mean I'm going to get in trouble? Am I going to get a cease and desist for my earballs because I listened to the next interview Jaguar Wright did on the Gary with the T show? So am I going to get a cease and desist because I listened to that? I don't know. And what's up with all the censorship in America these days anyway? We can't listen to what we want to listen to. We can't say the words we want to say. And we can't post what we want to post. We can't do nothing, but 45 can say whatever the fuck he wants to say. And the other one can lie to us and act like she has a plan and she doesn't. We're getting to her next. And it's just a lot. So in my opinion, the only person whose story hasn't changed is Jaguar. Truth usually has a consistency about it. Nobody has sued her. She's continuously talked about it and now put it in writing in this book, The Watershed. It's available on Amazon. Go check it out. She's been talking about it on multiple platforms. However, Pierce Morgan's platform is the only one that we know of that got the cease and desist. It's just so freaking weird to me, you guys. I'm not really sure why that's the case. I'm not sure how legally you send it to the person she talked to. And Pierce apologized, you guys. Pierce had to do an apology, okay? He had to do an apology. And you know what's interesting is because she said a lot of stuff in that interview. I watched that whole interview that she did with Pierce. You can't wipe my mind. They're not going to get out their little Men in Black pen and wipe my mind, because I watched the interview. You can't make me unhear what the fuck I heard, okay? So she also brought up some other big name people in that talk with Pierce Morgan. She brought up Jay-Z, she brought up Clive Davis, and she brought up another person. Now, the Clive Davis person, he's huge. He's way bigger than Jay-Z from what I understand. And he not sending no cease and desist to Pierce. We got a saying in housewife territory. It's called when hit dogs holler. And to me, I don't know, a cease and desist to the person listening is kind of a big holler. That's a pretty mighty loud yelp of a holler over there, because you sent it to the wrong person. And then people are like, oh, well, Jag doesn't have nothing. That's all the more reason to send it to her, because at least then you can say you sent it to her. And maybe if she's causing you damage, you could have at least had her arrested legitimately instead of just like throwing spaghetti on the wall. You know what I mean? What do you guys think in the comments? Do you think that he sent the cease and desist to the wrong person or the right person? In my opinion, the person who's listening isn't the problem. the person who's been saying the consistent stories for the last 5 years, everywhere she can possibly say them, that seems like more your issue, bruh. And I'm not sure what Bay had to say about it, but I mean, if you're following along, Bay, it doesn't seem like Pierce is the problem for having a platform that hosted Jaguar. And, maybe if I was Pierce, I might countersue for discrimination, because why didn't Jay-Z and Beyonce sue Tasha K, sue the Breakfast Club, sue wherever else Jaguar Wright went and told these stories? You see what I'm saying? Why else didn't that happen? And in my eyes, that would be discrimination. Why are you picking on me? I'm a white guy. Because I'm a white British guy, you're picking on me. I get a cease and desist because I had her on my platform. You didn't send one to Tasha K when she was talking about you all during the pandemic. Remember? Did not send one to Tasha K. You did not send one to Gary with the T. You did not send one to Storm Monroe. You did not send one to whoever else. I think she talked to Sherelle's World a couple of times. You did not send one anywhere else but to Pierce Morgan. And he's the only difference I can see is that he's a white man. So I don't know, Pierce. You might want to countersue for discrimination, because you are one of the only bona fide journalism things. I mean, everybody else is literally, you came from network TV to YouTube. Everybody else is just on YouTube, bro. So how is he picking on you, Pierce? What's up with that? I would have the feels about it. I don't know that I would have been so. And then the way Pierce Morgan usually digs his heels in about everything. I mean, he's still whimpering about Meghan Markle to this day, 10/10/2024. If you mention Meghan Markle, he'll still whimper about it because he's still butthurt over that. Okay. So what's the big deal? Why Pierce and not everybody else that Jaguar's ever been? It screams when hit dogs holler. Okay, so I just don't really understand it, but I don't have to understand. Just like in the Bible, it says, lean not unto your own understanding, because this shit is not making sense. Okay, so we went over Sunny at the far left. We went over Tyler. We went over Moses, aka Jason, when he's in jail. We went over Jaguar Wright speaking her truth. We talked about how Jay-Z and Beyonce sent a cease and desist, or had their attorneys do a something where, to the point where Pierce had to do an apology on air. So we went over all of those. Now we're going to talk about Kamala. I think somebody got her a cackle coach. So that horrible, horrible cackle, we haven't had to hear it so much, but we still get that awkward smile. Go ahead and smash that like button, smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell so you can get notified when I go live. So this week hasn't been, this whole entire election is batshit crazy. Nothing that I've ever experienced in life, nothing that I ever thought could happen based off of my civics class, nothing. Okay. So I'm in my 50s and just found out that we're in a constitutional republic because of this election. When I was yelling about, I did not vote for Kamala because she wasn't on a primary ticket at that time. The only names on the primary tickets were the names on the primary tickets. And one of them was not Kamala, you guys. And never in history have I voted for a person who then bowed out and decided to give my vote to another person without me having to go revote for that person, you guys. And when I complain about it, I get told that we're in a constitutional republic. Or when I complain about it, I get told some bullshit about how, oh, well, when you vote for the president, you're voting for the vice president too. And so it would have been natural that she was going to take over for him and blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit. And if you guys are willing to swallow that, then get ready for your Handmaid's Tale outfits, because the shit's about to go down, you guys. The shit's about to go down. That was not democracy. That was an installation. You guys should feel usurped the way that I feel usurped. If there was not a name on the primary ticket, it shouldn't have been at the motherfucking convention. And that's in plain speak, okay? That's why the Kumo guy in New York got sued by the Women's Voters League when he refused to have a primary that year. You know what I mean? Because there is a process, and the process is we, the people, get to vote for we, the people, the constituents, get to vote for candidates based off of ideals that we share with them. And then those ideals, if we agree, we say, oh, okay, let's date for the next 4 years and let's see how you're going to make my life better, because you just promised me, you just love bombed me with all your campaign promises. So let's get at it. And even after that, my issue became she didn't have a platform. You're sitting in the office next to the office you coveted for 3.5 years, and the man hands it to you on a silver platter, and you don't even have a list of to-dos that you're going to do as soon as you get in the office that you've been coveting for the last 3.5 years, ma'am. It didn't make any sense that she didn't have one scribble in a notebook to tell us about a platform or an agenda for what it would look like under her as president. Not to mention the fact that everything she ran on as a presidential nominee in 2020, she has backslid and pussy popped on and is doing the complete opposite now, talking about it's the same value. I'm sorry, ma'am, that's bullshit. How can the same value be to frack yet not frack? That sounds like some frick frack paddywhack, give your dog a bone. It doesn't sound like you're making sense, ma'am. It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like you're giving us word salad, excuses, and some more word salad. And I'm not sure why she still isn't able to articulate what the fuck she's going to do if she becomes president. She did not put any policies up on her website. We checked it every day over here. And then I got overwhelmed with it all. I just couldn't anymore. I'm just like, oh my fucking God. This lady is maddening. And then every time she does open her mouth, she says, fuck America, basically, and pledges allegiance to other places that are not America, along with pledging our taxpaying dollars to other places that is not America. And I'm like, y'all are cool with this? This installed woman is sending my reparations to other countries while telling me she don't give a fuck about me, not going to do anything for people that look like me, but we better vote for her because she washes collard greens in a bathtub, which is, by the way, fucking nasty. And then she laughs about it all these years later. I bet those people are throwing up in the back of their mouth right now every time they hear that story about how they ate her greens that she washed in the same place where she washed her feet, her crusty toes, and her ass and her private parts, and washed her hair. Oh my God, smiling with Erin. No way. Thanks for coming through. Erin, you always come right at the right time. No way, I haven't seen you in a long time. So I just don't understand. So this week was not a good week for her because people were supposedly asking her questions in live interviews that they kept on having to unalive and then edit and then do voiceovers over because she was so horrible at conveying her message. And basically is pulling a 45 is Donald Trump, is pulling a 45 talking about she has outlines but doesn't have the details yet. Doesn't that sound a lot like a concept? That sounds like a concept. Everybody was like, oh my God, 45 only has concept. Now, I'm not pro 45. I'm just saying if that was an issue for 45 to only have concepts and no details, then why is it not an issue when old girl only has concepts and not details? I love you more, Erin. I just don't understand what the duopoly and the duplicity is about. I don't understand why I've been like banging my head on the desk for the last week. I'm like, is there some kind of under contract here in the United States where none of the tax-paying dollars can be spent on American citizens without it being an issue? Like The people in North Carolina getting offered $750 for food for refrigerators that are floating down the fucking mountain. That you can't even put the food in the house because the house slid down the hill and you don't have no place to be. But if you heard this with a smoke signal, then you can call the number and get a check up to $750 while you're up to your freaking earlobes in water in your house slid down the fucking mountain. But they just sent another $22 billion to Ukraine. If you can find the carrier pigeon that we sent with the message to North Carolina to the survivors that says you can possibly get $750 if you up to 700. It's not even 750, you guys. It's up to $750. If you can hear that this is available to you, and we just earmarked another $121 million for the freaking Israel. But Americans in dire straits are getting triple charged on food, gouged on prices, price gouging ever since the demic happened, you guys. Ever since the demic happened. And she was in the office and heavily involved in everything. And don't try to tell me, oh, she was just a vice president. She couldn't do anything. Vice presidents really don't do anything. She was just on The View today bragging about how she was in all those rooms making those decisions, you guys. She's practically been running the country. That could be what the fuck the problem is. Maybe if Joe wasn't asleep, he would have done a better job. Kamala's been at the wheel. Let her tell it. She refuses to answer questions on immigration. She refuses to tell us what the freaking she's going to do for an economy. She tells us stuff about the opportunity economy. The opportunity should be you need to lower these motherfucking prices and make it against the law to raise them so high during a demic when you know everybody hasn't even fucking worked for 2.5 years, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, mademoiselle. No excuse. I'm not accepting this bullshit. And people I talk to want me to accept this bullshit and then reason it away and justify it for her. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. This is too important an election to me. This is very important. Everybody's like, oh, it's so important. We got to keep 45 out. No, what I got to keep is my soul out of motherfucking hell. That's what I got to keep out. And if I vote for genocide, that's what they're both for 45 and this one, the red and the blue are both going to continue to fund the war. Yep, they sure are. And if they're going to continue to fund it, then I'm not going to be complicit in it. I already told you guys know who like me over here on LRGA Curves. You already know I have a thing with being complicit. I don't want to be complicit in the colorism on Real Housewives of Potomac. I don't want to be complicit in the thievery of Erica Jane on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I don't want to be complicit in the freaking buffoonery over there in New Jersey with all the freaking stuff going on over there. I don't want to be complicit. And I feel like my view is engaging in a way that makes me complicit. And my vote is the same thing. If I engage with my vote with views I don't believe on, then I'm being a whore. I just got pimped out. And I'm not a whore. I'm a nice married lady. I'm monogamous. We're not swingers over here. You're not going to, and nothing she says really is love bombing. She's not really making any promises. Everything is about sacrifice and work and da 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 da. No, I'm not with that. Look, we pay enough taxes in this country that if you spend the money on Americans in America, then America could be the number one country like it was supposed to be. But instead, we work like slaves in America to have our tax paid, to have our taxes paid, and then they send all our tax-paying dollars to everybody else, and we have to stand in lines, and then we get looked at by Republicans like we have our hand out, or you get looked at by Democrats like you have your hand out. What's going on? I don't have my hand out. Ukraine has their hand out. How about that? How about that? I don't have my hand out. Israel has their hand out. How about that? I just want what I'm due, because you can only tax $1 so many times, and you I don't get nothing, and you want to take the Social Security you promised my grandma. This is bullshit, you guys. I am so surprised that free thinking, heart filled, compassionate people are not more up in arms about this. How are you guys just like, la la la, la la la, la la la, la la la? Nothing to see here, folks. 2,000-pound bombs going off. Nothing to see here, folks. Well, not anymore because the bomb dropped. It's so crazy. So many orphans, so many freaking parents without their kids. And every time this woman opens her mouth, the first thing she says is, oh, they have a right to defend themselves. And we're going to make sure they keep on defending themselves. And we know this formula also from that. I can put everything back to housewife territory, y'all. We know this from the housewives, the ultimate villain victim, right? We got Giselle acting like the villain all season on Real Housewives of Potomac, and then somebody calls her on the carpet about it, and all of a sudden she's a victim. We got Teresa Giudice over there in New Jersey screaming at everybody, being the villain all the time, pulling bones out of the closet on everybody's man and family, and then bringing it up in front of Gia so it can get on screen time. And then as soon as somebody calls her on the carpet, she turns into a victim. We got the people over in Real Housewives of Atlanta. Kenya Moore will squeeze your man's ass and jump in the pool with him and let her fondle your titties. And then she'll steal your booty idea and you'll be her only friend on set. And then she'll try to take your man. And then when you call her on the carpet about it, she turns into a victim. That's what this is happening. The villain and the victim. You can't be the villain and the victim. When you're moving in a way that the ICC and the ICJ say is a clear apartheid regime committing gin with a side of not juice, and we're constantly engaging with our tax-paying dollars, that's making us complicit. And I am so surprised that there are so many warmongers in my friend circle, in my family. People in my family are arguing with me about voting for her. Did you guys see Candace Owens? Episode 70, episode 71, episode 72, episode 73, and I think episode 74 are all on her deep dive into the rabbit hole of Kamala's ancestry, and how she went back and she showed that in her Kamala's book, The Truths We Tell or something. One of the pictures that she put up was like, oh, this is me with my maternal grandmother, Miss Iris, and it's this black lady, and they look like they're in a field. And then there's this other picture of her as a baby on this other black lady's lap, and these two ladies look really dark black, right? And so what Candace Owens found out is that those two ladies were the help. And that wasn't her grandmother at all, because the lady who she called Miss Iris had died 4 years before she was alive. 4 years before Kamala was born, that lady died. And after Candace Owens divulged that on her show, they went back and got another copy of the book, The Truths They Tell, and the pictures were removed. You guys, she wrote a whole book, let it get out. The editors edited it. It sold millions of copies. And that wasn't even her grandmother, because her grandmother had died 4 years before she was born, and they let that whole book get written like that. She's a liar. And it was in a book called The Truths We Tell. That's what was revealed on Candace Owens' show. You guys need to go check out those episodes. And also, they made her take it down. YouTube snatched the episode down. They let it get like, it was like up to 700,000 views, and they took it down. But she continued her search. And then that got her looking at Kamala Harris's father, which is her only link to being a Black person, right? Because he was allegedly Jamaican. But Joe Brown said that Donald Harris told him to his face that he was Irish and Caucasian or Indian or something like that, and that he was definitely not a Black man. And Kamala's ancestry in Jamaica was slave owners, y'all. That's why she ain't doing nothing for Black people. She doesn't like us. It's in her DNA. Look it up. Brownstown, named after her slave owning great granddaddy. Yes. Look it up. It's all out there unless she had everything scrubbed. Well, it's not scrubbable because actually Jamaica has its own newspapers, and that's where Candace Owens was able to get much of her information was from the actual Jamaica newspaper archives. So, because in those articles, they would do like marriage announcements, death announcements, business announcements. And so she was able to piece together the lineage along with putting $1,000 reward out. And people were sending her all kind of stuff they found. And then, oh my God, she even found out that the person who was allegedly Donald's mother, and Donald is Kamala Harris's father, allegedly that person never had a child named Donald, but signed the death certificate of a child named Donald Harris. I don't know. It's bizarre. You guys go. It's so freaking Twilight Zone. So Twilight Zone. But like I was saying, she didn't do good this week. She was supposedly did a live interview just last night on 60 Minutes, and they had to do voiceovers because she was not making any sense. Her word salads are turning into McFlurries. I'm not sure. She was not good. She was and blinking really fast, like she was lying, caught in a lie. It was so embarrassing. It was really cringeworthy. It was very cringeworthy. You know how when Obama would talk as African American, we were like, "Oh, he's so articulate," and da da da. Well, she's articulate, but she cannot string a sentence together, in my opinion, unless she's in her lawyer mode. When she gets in her lawyer mode, like, and she feels like she's questioning something or explaining it, and she gets to use her words, then she's good. But when she's answering a question, she doesn't never answer a question. Did you notice that if they say something to her, they'll say, "So what are your plans for the economy?" And what a normal person would say, "Oh, my plans for the economy is to make sure that, there's enough jobs and enough this and enough that, and maybe do this and maybe do that." Why does she start every answer to every question off with, "Well, when I was growing up as a small child in Oakland, my mom bought a house next to a firefighter and a teacher." And that is why does she start all the sentences like that? Every answer is started like that. It's so Manchurian Candidate. Does anybody else feel like they're watching a real life Manchurian Candidate? Where you just say the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, but none of it is making sense? I do. This is bizarre. Every time she goes on show after show after show and says the same stupid non-answers. It's almost like she has to say the part about how, "Oh, I grew up here and my mom was able to buy a house." You guys, when she tells that story about her when her mom bought the house, that the house she bought was in Canada. You know that, right? When she answered the question and said, "Well, my mom was able to buy a house and that showed me," and da 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 da, the house was in Canada, in a very rich part of Canada. Oh, yeah. And Candace Owens also found out that her mom was a communist, and so was her dad, a registered member of the Communist Party. Hey, allegedly, that I'm saying allegedly, but that's what Candace said on her thing. That's what she does. She repeats everything. She's not smart to even embellish or improv. Yeah, it's like she has no personality. Like you don't have two extra words. It's or maybe if she says two extra words, that's why she starts blinking a lot and being a duh, 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 because that 60 minutes interview, you guys, Google it. There's an edited version and an unedited version. And if you play them both back to back, why did 60 Minutes, who is supposed to be a revered news outlet, not only claim that it was a live interview and then make it not live, but then edit it to make her appear better than she actually looked? That's bias. That's bias. Yeah, Mademoiselle, that's exactly what Candace said. She said that communists specifically love to infiltrate. That's their whole thing. They're basically parasites and they love just coming in and they infiltrate and then they take over and they assume the identities of, and then they do that. That's what she said. Go watch episode 72, 73, 74. I'm telling you. And that's really interesting that you went straight there because I had no idea that that was part of their MO. Registered Communist Party members, and both of their parents. So Kamala's parents, Donald and Guapla, yes, to infiltrate the civil rights movement. Exactly. Exactly. And hijack it and make it take much longer than it needed to, probably because shit hasn't changed. Not a motherfucking thing. Yes, isn't that crazy? That's why she don't want to do nothing for black people, because that's their whole agenda, to do nothing for black people, to infiltrate, do nothing for us, as the lineage of a slave master and of a commie. Allegedly. Hey, hey, I'm on the Candace Owens show, and that's what they said, and she showed us proof about it. So don't blame me, blame the other messenger. This is all allegedly over here, though, and for entertainment purposes. So, yeah, it's so freaking weird to me that this does not concern anybody. The mere fact that a black woman told a room full of black people she's not doing shit for you within the conversation of reparations and having the history of being a slave owner in her blood should concern all the Negroes I know. It's not screaming Samuel L. Jackson and Django. You know who Samuel L. Jackson was in Django, right? The one that went and got all the other black people for the guy and for the master of the house, and he made it really hard on them. Mm-hmm. But he looked like them, but he made it really hard on them because he got to be next to Massa. Mm-hmm. And we've already talked about how Kamala Harris's husband is directly responsible for the censorship across social media platforms, specifically with anti-Semitism. Google it. The Interagency for Anti-Semitism, something, something, something. We did a whole thing on it over here. Look at the archives. That should concern you. America is supposed to be land of the free, home of the brave, freedom of speech. And all of that is deteriorating within this election cycle. And that smile that she has does not calm me. Let's look at that. That doesn't calm me. That looks forced. Honestly, you guys, I don't know. She kind of reminds, I don't know if I should say this part, but she kind of, I don't know. I told my friend, yeah, that's too hard of a cheese. I don't know. I'm concerned that there are so many people willing to overlook what's happening in the other country. How do you move to another country and then blow it to smithereens, bulldoze their houses, excavate them to other regions, and then bomb those regions because now they're there, that you forced them over there? And then turn around and want to send American sons, American blood sons, to go fight with their bodies and their blood and their bodies and their blood. They're sending them over there to fight on behalf of Israel. Sending our sons again to the Middle East, to those people minding their motherfucking business in their house. And because Netanyahu came to America and told us last week that, oh, they're everywhere. He had the nerve to come to America and tell us that who he considers terrorists has infiltrated every single house and garage in Lebanon, which gives him permission to destroy it with American bombs and American sons. That doesn't concern anybody. Nobody has a son. Nobody has a nephew. I don't understand. That should be very concerning to you, that a foreign government is coming and telling us what the fuck to do. How is a foreign government coming and telling us what the fuck to do? Is this the United States of Israel? Like, I'm not sure. I'm so confused. America has blood on their hands. It's not right. Israel has the right to defend itself, but with its own money and people. That's what I'm saying. Defend on, bruh. Do your best. Why do we have to help? Well, I'm not with my vote anyway. I'm not helping shit. Not with my vote. I'm only voting for non-genociders. Anybody who's anti-war, that's who I'm looking at. I'm only looking at anti-war candidates. I don't care how big your smile is, how orange your hair is. I'm looking for anti-war candidates. If you're purple and anti-war, I'm considering you. If you're, what's another color? Green and anti-war, I'm considering you. We need to make demands. Stop using American dollars. That's what I'm saying. But, mademoiselle, we do need to make demands, but people are just going along with this. Because a vote for this woman is literally saying, he's telling the one thing she's sure about, the one thing she's sure about consistently is that she supports what's going on over there and will continue to support what's going on over there in perpetuity, if that's what it takes. That's the one thing she says with her whole chest and no smile about. She gets really serious every time she says it too. There's no cackle and no smile then. Oh yeah, I do. Let me get that for us. That was hilarious. So scary. Oh, Smile 2 is coming out, you guys. Yeah. Because I'm like this. Have you seen this movie, you guys? Where when the people smile at you, that's when you know you're in trouble. And I was telling you guys, a smile is not a policy. Okay? A smile is not a policy. A smile is not a plan. And in this movie, Smile, whenever you see the people smile, like Doesn't that look crazy? Isn't that kind of off-putting? That's what her smiles remind me of. Yep. Freaking weirdos. That's scary shit. Smile too. Get your tickets now. Uh-oh. Another smile. A bloody smile. It's coming out. It's coming out. Trying to get to a smile. Yeah. It's scary, you guys. I'm glad they made a horror out of it because this shit is scary. Look again. Isn't that scary? Doesn't it look like you should be really careful before you go over there? It looks like you should be really careful before you go anywhere near over there, right? So she went on the interview. It was horrible. And then she was on The View yesterday. And of course, they didn't ask her any questions. So I think that was actually a live show yesterday. I don't think it was taped. It was supposed to be her first live appearance. And then she went on Howard Stern today. She went on The Daily Show last night. And she's just been like making a media blitz. And everywhere she walks into freedom, freedom, that Beyonce song that I don't really care for. And it's like, why are we always trying to do a freaking concert? And that's the one thing I always hated in seeing marketing growing up. I literally asked my dad before, Papa Curves. I had asked him before. I was like, why do they always just put music in commercials with Black people? Did you ever notice like a McDonald's commercial, a Black family, and it just have lots of good music, and then they order a burger and sit down and start eating and they're happy? And then you buy in a car and you just play really good music and you show Black people playing really good music, driving around in the car and they're happy. And it's just like kind of music driven. It's like concert. It kind of puts me in the mind of like a maestro. It's just like music driven. It's not because it's a quality product. It's not because it's good for them. It's not because it's healthy and it'll last. It's not because it's economical. It's none of that. It's just the music all the time. Did you ever notice that? I did. And I'm noticing on this also is that Donald Trump does it too, but he gets sued for it. But they always try to make it feel like it's a concert and they're cool and they're hip on the music. And so she is wearing the hell out of that song Freedom by Beyonce. I'm just like, I don't want to hear it again. Want to hear it again. Don't keep walking out to that song acting like it's the first time we heard it. We've heard it a million times. You still don't have a policy. You're still fear mongering. Everything always only leads back to what 45 is going to do. But you both only have war in mind for my son. So neither one of you are getting my vote. I'm sorry. And on a side note, before we hop out of here, did you guys know that most states in America have, because these natural disasters got me thinking about, there's laws in America, states that can't okay, here we go. Let me share this with you. Just keep this in mind. I was talking about how all our liberties are going, where are they going? Out the window. We can't say what we want. We can't listen to what we want. We can't type what we want. everything has a consequence. I get it. I get it. We got to be careful and stuff. But also, it's a very extreme because we do still supposed to get freedom of speech, right? And we are still supposed to get to do what we with our money when we want to do it with our money, right? And we are still supposed to be able to get help when we need help, right? But did you know that here in America, that specifically during these times of needing help to like rebuild your house or money allocated for that, that you will not get money to rebuild your house if you've ever boycotted, sanctioned, or went against Israel. Did you know that? And here's a map. It was printed in April 29th, 2024. A map shows where boycotting Israel is illegal. Illegal in America. Okay? Look at this map. Oh, I'm only making that bigger. Okay. So the burgundy on the map, passed legislation. The pink on the map, executive order. The gray on the map, there's no restriction. So let's see what the restrictions are. Okay. So refusing to purchase consumer goods and services, protest centuries, ACLU is protected under the First Amendment. That's where the anti-BDS, it's called anti-BDS. And there's actually, it is in California, but maybe they don't, maybe it didn't pass, I guess. It hasn't passed. But I thought Jerry Brown put it in effect in 2017. We'll look at that. It was called like SB something, something. But it's anti-BDS. Boycott, divest, sanction laws go wrong. They expressly target boycotts of companies operating in Israel or in Israeli settlements because the government disapproves of the boycott message to protest against Israel. So as an American, you can't protest against Israel. Okay, that's what they're telling you. Let me go up a little. Okay. For example, in Indiana, the state Senate passed legislation in 2016. So this shit has been going on for almost a decade. Just like you guys think this Project 2025 isn't going to happen until Trump gets in. The shit's been happening for over 2 decades already. They've been having the bones put in place, and it's just the tipping point we're getting to for where everybody knows it's happening. But this shit is already happening. So this has been in effect since 2016, you guys. And there are very many states that have it. Let's see. In recent pro-Palestine protests, Columbia University, they set up the encampment. Tensions across the college campuses. The militant group launched an attack. And we already heard that that was bullshit. So I don't know why they reputable. Isn't Newsweek supposed to be a reputable news source? Didn't they already the story of on October 7th? A number of the people that passed away that stop. Didn't they already admit that a number of this they got so much wrong that day? And they still are moving forward as if everything they said the first time was right. How is that okay with people? And then, did you guys notice that this shit has been going on for over a year now, a year and 3 days? And this number, 34,000, has been the number since like April. But the destruction that we've seen has been far more than 34,000. So it's just lies on top of lies. One thing that's the truth is that if you're in America, you better not. Despite ongoing protests, the Jewish Virtual Library previously published a list of different states that have enacted this type of legislation in Newsweek. Now, wouldn't it be fabulous if, as African Americans, we could get legislation passed that you can't be a bigot, discriminate, or be racist against Black people. But here we have states that don't do nothing for Black people. They can't even get a great the hate crimes handed out right, but they're enforcing this law. Listen, the states that have passed legislation making it illegal for state agencies to work with companies that boycott include Texas, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Florida, Arizona, Georgia, Iowa, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Kansas, North Carolina, Utah, Missouri, Idaho, West Virginia, Colorado, Mississippi, and New Hampshire's. So, isn't that crazy? And all the way in Alaska, their governor has directed state agencies to halt business transactions with any entity that endorses a boycott for Israel. Let me show you one other thing before we leave. Thanks for coming to LRGA Curves tonight. Make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already. States that can't boycott. Let me say this right. U.S. states that penalize citizens for boycotting Israel. And now it's up to 28. This is from 2019. Anti-boycott laws. Oh, this is still about businesses. Because I had a video, but I lost it in all the videos I have, of an actual woman whose house was affected by, was the last Hurricane Helen, and she went to go get help, and somebody checked something, and she had said something against Israel, so they wouldn't help her fix her fucking house. Yeah. Now this one says 38 states. So one said 27, 28. The first one we saw. The next one we saw said 27. Now this one says, this is from the jewishlibrary.org, and it says that 38 states have adopted laws, executive orders, and resolutions designed to discourage boycotts against Israel. Separately, the U.S. Congress has considered anti-boycott legislation in reaction to the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. The Senate passed S1, which contained anti-boycott provisions in January 28, 2019. A vote of 74-19, the House passed a resolution condemning the boycott of Israel. No federal law was adopted. Mark Rubio, blah, blah, blah. And I don't want this in my thing. No, I don't think so. They say that spreading anti-Semitism, they always conflate. They always make it seem like anti-Semitism is advocating for the elimination of them, and that's simply not the case. And if it was, then couldn't the same argument be applied to traditionally marginalized people such as African Americans? And if it can be, then why hasn't it been? And if it's so easy to get laws for foreign countries, then why isn't it easy to get laws in place to protect actual fucking American citizens? What the fuck? They have to give written certification that the company isn't engaged and will not engage in boycotts of Israel. A person or entity based doing with jurisdiction in South Carolina can enjoy open trade. No way limited to companies. It's instead it refers to persons and entities. That's getting into citizens. Illinois state legislature. I told my mom, I was like, Mom, why do individual states also send their tax-paying dollars to Israel? Did you guys know that Illinois sends like $10 million a year to Israel? Did you guys know that New York sends millions, hundreds of millions of dollars a year to freaking Israel? Did you know that? But in New York, there's hella homeless, hella drug riddled, hella um, programs that can be used with that money. But they send it outside of the United States to a whole other country and tell Americans in that state that you better not say shit against where we're sending the money that you made for us. Is anybody else feeling like a slave? Anybody feeling like Massa better have their shit together? Let's see what this one says. It expresses unconditional support for Israel. Listen, okay, the legislation states that activities of the BDS movement in Alabama are harmful to the state's relationship with Alabama's Jewish citizens. Okay, so fuck black people, fuck Chinese people, fuck Latino people, unless you're Jewish, because they don't want you affected if you're Jewish, only if you're Jewish, okay? It expresses unconditional support for Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state. What about black people's right to exist walking down the street while they're fucking black? How about that? Whoa, in Colorado, legislation identify the bill then requires PARA. PARA is Public Employee Retirement Association? No way. So isn't that like school teachers and shit and the workers at the parks and stuff? Wait, let's see this. So in 2015, that's 10 years ago, you guys, the legislation ordered that PARA, the Public Employee Retirement Association, identify all companies participating in BDS. So they have a list. Didn't McCarthy used to have a list of people he called communists? And you got put on, that's where the whole term blacklist came up. Then the bill requires PARA to send a notice to the company alerting them of their status if the company does not stop supporting BDS activities within 180 days. The legislation requires PARA to divest from that company. The list of restricted companies is to be reviewed on an annual basis. The legislation. Did you guys know this? Yeah, no, I'm sorry. It did, huh? Let me see. Can I find it? I was on a roll. I had prepped that before last time. Sorry, mademoiselle. Yeah, so it is education. I thought it was like teachers and stuff, right? So a teacher has to pledge allegiance to, oh, that's weird. I thought we pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It didn't say nothing about what's happening now. Okay, so the law requires mandatory state divestment from any company that promotes, even if you promote divestment, including any territory controlled by the Jewish state of Israel. Florida, since 2016, bipartisan support, message of benefit, their relations with Israel, do not support the BDS. But why can't you? Aren't there millions of people that live in Florida and they get individual sovereignty over their minds and what they want to do? And this is actually restricting them. This is another form of censorship here in America. This is all getting cracked open, you guys. Wow, you can't even bid on work if you've ever boycotted without signing the thing. Let's see, in Virginia. Now, Virginia seems like they need to stop putting Mountain Dew on sippy cups. They got bigger problems than to pledge allegiance to Israel. Okay, let's see what this says. So, March, the legislation supports a negotiated two-state solution. All attempts to economically politically isolate Israel within the international arena include promoting economic, cultural, and academic boycotts, inherently antithetical and deeply damaging to the cause of peace in the Jewish community. Wow. Wow. I don't know that any state has anything like this in place for African Americans, for Chinese Americans, for Latino Americans. Representatives passed legislation, BDS not having passed the House, September 2018, issued an injunction blocking enforcement of the measure. The state appealed the ruling. Rather than go through the appeal, the legislation was passed in a new law in 2019, which limits the anti boycott certification to nonprofit companies with more than 10 employees and government contracts worth more than 100,000. Wow, listen to this. A federal appeals court upheld the constitutionality of the law in 2022 in the grounds that it does not infringe on free speech. It kind of feels like it infringes on free speech. The 9-1 ruling reversed the 21 decision. Kobe said that the law did not prevent the criticism of Israel or the law. It only prohibits economic decisions that discriminate against Israel because those commercial decisions are invisible to observers unless explained. They are not inherently expressive and do not implicate the First Amendment. Arizona sold $93 million of unlevered bonds and plans to sell the other 50 million invested in the company because the subsidiary Ben and Jerry's, shout out to the conscious Ben and Jerry's, the woke ass, that's the wokest ice cream on earth. Ben and Jerry's, they are always down for the right cause. I love Ben and Jerry's. They will make a statement ice cream in two shakes of a cherry Garcia. Okay, because Ben and Jerry stopped selling its ice cream in the West Bank. Good for you. So Georgia, again in 2016, I'm telling you, California was behind the curve because ours didn't happen until 2015. Iowa has it. Oh, look, their legislation was expanded to include wholly owned subsidiaries, majority owned subsidiaries, parent companies, and affiliates. It appeared to be aimed at Unilever, the parent company of Ben and Jerry's, which announced it would not sell it. So Iowa and uh, Arizona, are they close together or something? That Ben and Jerry's was in both places. I don't know. Okay, New York, Andrew Cuomo, 2016. Issued an executive order requiring state agencies to divest from organizations that participate in boycotts. Ooh, if you boycott against Israel, New York will boycott you. The governor chose to issue an executive order instead of bringing the issue to the state legislature because passing legislation can be a tedious affair. So he made an executive decision on behalf of you guys that if you have a small business in New York and you feel like what they're doing over there in Palestine is not okay, and you decide to do what you do as a private citizen, maybe you're not going to freaking Starbucks. Maybe you used to have Starbucks in your lunchroom and now you're not, and they find out, then you can't do business with them. He didn't do the primary, and he got sued by the by the Women's Voters League because Kumo was taking a lot of liberties. It seems. Rhode Island anti-discrimination in state contracts prohibits any company that seeks to do business with Rhode Island from engaging in economic, they call it economic warfare with Israel. Well, what is keeping Black people behind the generational wealth gap except for economical warfare? So you see how they know what the fuck they're doing when they're doing it, and they have exactly the word for what the fuck they're doing, but then they don't know what the fuck you're talking about when you say, what about us? That's currently happening here in America. Black businesses were boycotted because they were blown the fuck up. Anyway, you guys. But the list goes on and on and on in the morning, and I'm finally tired. So, husband and get up is 6:37 and start this all over again. Thanks for coming to LRGA Curves tonight. Make sure you smash that like button, smash the subscribe button on your way out. Remember what I always say, there's enough to go around, so go get some sleep, that is. I hope you guys have an excellent Thursday. Be light and think about the things that we were in here talking about tonight. And this is crazy. I'm not did you guys understand this? Does anybody have a company that wants to get a contract with the state? You better check the freaking BDS laws. And we're not talking about 50 Shades of Grey BDS either. No, no bondage, domination, and sadomasochism. Nope. Oh, it's called BDSM. I forgot the M. Yeah. So I love you guys. Make it a great tomorrow. Sweet dreams.